Welcome, everyone. I think you're really going to like this. And it's something that you really got to pay a lot of attention to. It's not something you learn overnight. But you get studying this, and you can literally have anything you want. Now, if you look here, I've been studying this for 60 years. I was 60 years, I started my 60th year last October. And I think, this is something you should study all the time. It's not just something you study once in a while. If you look at this for a moment, I think that Neville put it very well. He said, you're only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. I want you to think about that for a moment. Really give that some thought. You're only limited by weakness of attention. I have quoted Dr. Wernher von Braun on numerous occasions. When John Kennedy, when he was the President of the United States, asked the good doctor, the father of the space program, greatest scientist, what it would take to build a rocket that'll carry a person to the moon and bring him back safely to Earth. He answered him in 5 words. He said, the will to do it. Now, will is a mental faculty. You have perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. These are all our higher faculties. This is what makes us who we actually are. This is what separates us from all the rest of the animal kingdom. And Neville's saying, you're only limited by weakness of attention. Wernher von Braun was telling President Kennedy, all you need is to give it your full attention, the will to do it. See, the will gives us the ability to concentrate. I don't know what you want, but I do know this. If you can think it, and you can let yourself get emotionally involved with it, and you stay focused on it, you can have it. Now that's a very basic concept, but it's not the easiest thing for most people to do. But the more you study it, the better you're going to get at it. But I love this. You're only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. You've got to activate your imagination. A lot of people just use their imagination for, gosh, I hope this doesn't happen, or I hope that doesn't happen. They're letting it go in the wrong direction. Our imagination is the most marvelous. He'll, in Think and Grow Rich, he'll say the imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force that the world's ever known. It'll create anything for you. It'll take you anywhere. Your imagination will take you anywhere, and it'll give you anything you want. That's a beautiful thing to know. Now, everyone has a story, and I'm not an exception. I'd like to share my story with you, some of my story, not all of it, but some of it. And it has a lot to do with when I started to understand this law, the law of vibration. The Secret talked about the law of attraction. The Secret was a runaway, it went viral, a very bestseller. It's reported 500 million people have been impacted by the movie or the book, The Secret. Now, I was very fortunate to have a key slot in that movie. It's been often said that I'm better known in Iraq than I am in Indiana. And I think that's true. This is the primary law right here. The law of attraction starts with the law of vibration. And let's take a look at where the law of vibration starts. It starts right in your own mind, right in your own head. Your mind activates brain cells. And when those brain cells are activated, you're impacted. You impact the whole universe. Do you know that thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space? You see, as you get studying this and as you start to get into it in some depth, the ideas are so vast, they're so huge, yet you think this is about me. See, I don't think the vast majority of us have ever been introduced to who we really are. I think that if a person started to show some promise in developing a healthy self-image, they were told that they were being conceited. Don't be like that. That's not the way you should be. And of course, we get a lot of other bad information in there. But this law of vibration starts in our own marvelous mind. And I'd recommend that you start really studying this. If you just stick with us, what I've done, I've taken some of the most complicated material and I've reduced it to the most simplistic form, because that was the only way I was going to understand it, and I had marvelous teachers that helped me get that. Now, Lincoln said something absolutely incredible. Lincoln said many things that are incredible, but he said to believe in the things you can see and touch is no belief at all. But to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing. Think of that. To believe in the things you can see and touch. We've got things we can see and touch. That's no belief at all. To believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing. Do you know the biggest part of you you'll never see? The real you'll never see. Now we've got to start to understand this. We've got to start to get it in the right slot in our mind. We've got to realize that there's so much to us that we don't really get, we don't understand. Our educational system is so lacking in teaching us who we are. You can study psychology, but most people that study psychology have never really got to know themselves. I'm talking about in depth who you really are, your relationship to the whole scheme of things, or your relationship to God. You're talking about an infinite power, and you're created in that image. We have infinite potential locked up within us. What we want to do is learn how to use it for good in our life. This man changed my life probably as much as anyone in all the years I've been here. Leland Val van de Waal introduced me to some enormous ideas. That's a slide of Val working in a seminar that he and I and Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield started. I come up with the idea on a plane. I phoned Mark Victor Hansen. Then we got a hold of Val and Jack and got other people. And we put together a thing called the $1 Million Forum. And the idea behind it was we were going to teach people how to earn $1 million by setting up multiple sources of income. It was an absolutely phenomenal program. Now, we had some phenomenal teachers in that program. I mean, it was really a mind blower. It was so good. And Val, of course, wowed them all. He's gone now, God bless him, but he had such an impact on my life. And he helped me, got me into things that I never thought of in my life. He was the one that first told me about this. He says, those who tell stories rule society. He said, learn lots of stories, Bob. Because he said, you are a story. You are a story. Now think about that. You are a story. You're a mass of energy and you function on frequencies. You are. Now think of that. You may not think of yourself that way, and then you might say, what's this got to do with anything? Well, if you really understand it, you can attract more money, all the money you want, as a matter of fact. You can attract good health. You can attract great relationships. You can attract phenomenal business. I sat down on a sofa in a room by myself, a little house on Maplewood Lane in 1973, and I said, I'm going to build a company that operates all over the world. The lady that introduced us, Mikey Steller, is our Chief Operating Officer, and she's also our Marketing Director. And I sat down to watch television one night, which I very rarely do, and I only watched it for a few minutes. I thought, I don't want to watch this. And as I was getting up, my phone rang. And it was Mikey on the phone. This would be maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And she said, Bob, I just got a call from Betty. We're in every country in the world. I thought, wow. I wrote that in 1973. I was intellectually involved and I got emotionally involved. But I was it. I was the company. There was no one else. I was by myself. That's what I wanted to do. If you don't know what you want to do, you're going to drift. You're just going to float around like a leaf on a windy day. You're not going to go anywhere. You are a mass of energy and you function on frequencies. And Val really helped me understand that. Val Vanderwall had a very strong spiritual understanding. And he said, Bob, if you take a picture of yourself with a curling camera, you're going to see yourself as a glistening, radiating, gleaming form. Semyon Kurlian was a Russian photographer back in 1934, and he perfected Kurlian photography, what we call now Kurlian photography after him. When you photograph mass, you can photograph the energy coming from it. You can photograph a plant, and you'll see there's a vibration coming from the plant. Everything vibrates. A garden rock is vibrating. Everything moves. Nothing rests. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you because I think it's a mighty important thing for you to really understand. You see, energy functions on frequencies, and that's what you're made of. Your body is a mass of living energy. A frequency is a level of vibration. That's exactly what a frequency is. There is an infinite number of frequencies. Remember I said you can think, activate brain cells, you send off a charge of energy. Now stay with me here. This is so important, yet it's so misunderstood. There's an infinite number of frequencies. Every one of those little purple lines represent a level of vibration. Now, do you know, Albert Einstein, God bless him, he sure had his act put together, didn't he? He said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Now, this is what we teach here at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. We teach you the primary cause of the good that you desire. You take care of the cause, the effect always takes care of itself. In fact, Emerson said the law of cause and effect was the most important law in the universe. I don't know if I agree with that, but he's certainly pretty close to it if he isn't right. Everything is energy. Now think. That's all there is to it. Everything is energy. Everything. Match the frequency of the reality you want. Yet you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy.